Good evening. Oh, am I on? Oh, great. Good evening and welcome to this year's Public Affairs Conference Keynote Address. I would like to invite Vincent Hare, our Executive Director of Speakers, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Hi, and welcome everybody to our keynote address. And I can really tell you that I'm super excited for whom I'm introducing to you tonight. Ronny Edry is an illustrator, teacher, and graphic designer from Tel Aviv, Israel. Mr. Edry graduated with honors from the Bezalel Academy of Art and Design, and since has been a permanent member of the Schenker College teaching visual communications. Mr. Edry is also a working designer and acclaimed author of graphic novels. He's the owner and founder of Pushpin, a preparation school for the art and design academies in Israel. Mr. Edry has, throughout his entire life, been involved in social topics, political media, and social awareness through graphic posters promoting a variety of topics. His most recent and most popular endeavor, The Peace Factory, is a Facebook community that promotes loving relations between nations, in this case particularly Israel and Iran. The 2013 Public Affairs Conference has brought Mr. Edry and his entire family here today in partnership with the Euphrates Institute. The Euphrates Institute would like to honor Mr. Edry as their Visionary of the Year. After his speech, Euphrates Vice President Rebecca Tobias will present this award to Mr. Edry. A brief Q&A will follow this presentation. Now, everybody please help me to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Ronny Edry, to the stage.
Wow. All right. It's not working. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that was... First, I just want to say thank you, Vincent, Rebecca, Jessica. I mean, all of you guys inviting us from Israel to your college. We've been here for a few days, and it was like, it's still like a dream. You have the best place on earth. I mean, I've been places, really. I'm gonna talk to you about the Peace Factory and a project we called Israel Loves Iran. I'm just gonna try with some perspective, so to the people who are not familiar with the Middle East and what's the background of that story. I bring that picture so you can see the difference between my country and your country. Basically, you living, where are you? Missouri, somewhere else? Yeah, somewhere. And this is your neighborhood, actually. I mean, when you go to visit somebody, you go to Virginia, I don't know, you got some friends in New York, you hop on a plane, you hop on a train, you go by car. This is your neighborhood. This is the place you're living here. These are your neighbors. This is the place you enjoying having social life. This is my neighborhood. So this is, Israel is the tiny place, like here you can read it. Half of it is not even Israel, some part of the West Bank, the Gaza Bank. And then you got Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, Iraq, Syria in the north. And to me, it's impossible to visit my neighborhood. I cannot go on a train and go to visit to Jordan. I can try to go to Egypt. It's possible, but it's dangerous, and most of people don't do. Some of them go just to the Sinai. It's that place. That's desert. They go to dive there, but that's mainly the end of it. Nobody goes to travel to Lebanon, to Syria, to Jordan. Nobody goes to Iran. With Iran, we can even speak on the phone. In Israel, you can't take a phone and dial to Iran. There is no way to do that. You cannot send mails to Iran. I mean, if you want to send something, you got to send it to a friend in Germany, America, wherever, and it will be resent. So this is where I live. This is my small country. And in our country now, we have a war coming. We have a war like every 10 years, roughly, basically. And now we have this one coming with Iran. Iran, it's like the other way around, to me, of the world. It's like those guys. And so the question is why we have this war coming, and what can we do about it? This is you. When you go on Google and you type Missouri images, this is you. I mean, when Janessa sent me the first mail and said, hey, what about coming to St. Louis, Missouri, Principia College, I go on the internet and say, okay, how it looks. And I called Michal and I said, okay, we're going to that place. He said, all right. You know, that's how you see the world. You see it through images, and most of the time you're just going to ask Google how it looks, this is my definition so far. Before I'm meeting you in person, my definition of Missouri is that. Most of the time, your definition of Israel is going to be that. These are the first 10 hits on Google Images for Israel. Not a nice place. And these are the first 10, 20 images on Google Images for Iran. So that's what you have in mind when you're thinking about Iran. If you're not familiar with some Iranian, if you don't have family there, if you don't know them, if you just know them about what you see on TV, this is what you know. And this is the context I started to work in. I'm a graphic designer and I made posters. So on March 13 last year, I made this one. And I really didn't think about it too much. I just did it because this war coming, and I wanted to say something to the Iranian on the other side of the world. I wanted to check with them, like, one more time before we're going head to head. I wanted to check with them if we're really going to do it. If there is any way we can talk about it before. And to me, the only way was to make a step forward, to go and say, hey guys, we love you. We don't know you even. I mean, we love you as Michal said a few days ago, the kind of we don't want you dead, love you. You know, we don't know you, we just love you as people. And then the world changed, I mean, to me, and I'm going to try to tell you the story of the months just after I post that poster on Facebook. So it was, I asked Michal to take a few pictures. We were like the kids, and it was crazy in the house, and I tell her, you got to help me, I need to make some picture. And she says, oh, you and your stupid project. I mean, why now, in the middle of the day? I said, just come on and help me, just take and so I take the picture, and I went up, and I go, and I do my graphic, and late in the night, I post the poster, and she said, okay, this is a good one, I think, but, you know, we didn't think about it, we just post it, and we go. And most of the time, I'm waking up a lot of time in the middle of the night. I go sleep, I go see stuff on Facebook. I'm like addicted. And so most of the time I'm making a post, and that's the end of it. I have few friends telling me, that was nice, that was not nice, 1 like, 2 like, 1 share, if you really, you know, wow, I liked it. And okay, so you know, your processing thing, you want to, as a graphic designer, you want to get it getting out of your system. So I put the image and I went to sleep. And in the middle of the night, I woke up and I just go to my page, and it was like crazy. I mean, really, those red dots that you have on top, there was like, I never saw that. So I get into the messages, and one of the people in the messages, because it was my private account. It wasn't a page or something, just a private account. So on your private account, you can receive messages from your friend. So one of my friends tell me to go to see the others. There is for people who are receiving messages, you can receive them from friends and from others. So he said, go to others. I think you're going to have a lot of surprise. And I went to look about these others, and it was hundreds of messages from people from all over the world. But the craziest, there were some messages from people from Iran. And that was like, whoa. I mean, I run to the bedroom, and I asked Michal to come, and she's like, what do you want now? I mean, stop it with your stupid project. I mean, let me sleep. We have 2 kids. I have to waking up early. Now come, you have to see that. I'm talking with Iranians. And she said, okay. And really, it was like the middle of the night, and we were looking at the screen, and it was incredible because as Israeli, we never spoke with Iranians. I mean, we're going to go to war with them, but we never spoke with them. And then we have people on Facebook telling us, we got your message. We got your poster. Thank you for posting that. We feel exactly the same about you. So the first few hours, the first few days was just this kind of messages. I didn't know what to do with them, so I just make screenshots and post them on my page so people can see, you know. These are few. I just erased the faces and the names so nobody get into trouble because they were private message. And a day later, when all this really started to become like a story in my family, Michal, my wife, said, okay, now you're going to make me the same poster. I mean, it's not going to be just you. So the day later, the day after, I take that picture with Michal, and I post it. And then something crazy happened, because then it was like a door open. It was like, it's not just you, it's you, and everybody can. So people start to send me images and calling me and say, hey, take my picture, please. This is one of my best friends called Sunny. He was against the whole project the first minute. He was like, what are you talking about? Last week he was with me in Utah talking about the same project. And this is Michal, a good friend of us, and this is this is the whole neighborhood. Basically, this is our students sending us some picture of themselves, and it went on and on for a few days. I start to receive so many pictures from Israelis in my private email on Facebook, whatever ways they have to sending me pictures and telling me, please, do me that posters and send it in my behalf. I want to be part of that message to the Iranian people. So, you know, I'm just going to show you. It was hundreds of them. I just bring the best one or the nicest one. At some point, my feed on Facebook and my account were looking the same. It was like, I wasn't sure if I was looking at the feed of Facebook or my private account, because it was all those posters, because people were sharing and resharing, and it was like the whole internet was just about those posters. And, you know, as a graphic designer, we receive so many messages, and we decide really early on, the first few days, that we have to do something with those messages, and we cannot just posting them as they are. We have to make something out of them so people will read them, because people don't read. Yes, it's just looking at the images. So we made images out of those Iranian messages. This is just a few of them. I think this is one of the most moving to me. I just give you 2 seconds, a minute to read it. This is Neri, my son, walking up. He's like, "What are you talking about? Let me sleep." This is a crazy story about a woman in Iran, and she was raised up as a girl to enter the school walking on the flag of Israel or on the flag of the United States, because that's how you're raised. And that's how you end up hating somebody without even knowing him. And now she see the images on Facebook, and it changed her mind. And then, again, it was every few days something crazy happened. And then we start receiving posters from Iran, from Iranians. I mean, people from Iran start to make their own posters. Some of them not living in Iran, but Iranians, like Shahrazad, she's living in Germany, but she's an Iranian, born and raised, you know. But also a lot of Iranian living in Iran, you know, courageous people, because they have to take a picture and send it to us, but they're still living there. So at the beginning, it was just this kind of pictures, you know, when you can see, you can just see the foot of the person, but it's like, I'm also part of the story, maybe just my foot, but, you know. And they have these graphics, and they just use it to respond. So it was kind of a two-way stories at that point. This is my living room. Just, you know, at that point, you have Sunny and so many friends come at that time, because we received so many images and messages, and we didn't know how we're going to process all this information. So I have to have some friend, and I just give them the admin password to get on the Facebook page, and they were answering people, getting the best text and making posters. All of them are graphic designers. And it was like a lab working all the time. This is, at some point, we get the idea of maybe raising money, and because it started to be a nice story on Facebook. So we say, hey, why don't we raise money, and we're gonna put that story on the media. We're gonna buy some, you know, air, and we're gonna put that in the media. And again, the craziest thing happened again. The media come and knock on the door and say, hey, this is a good story. We want to hear about it. Please, can we interview you? And for a few days, maybe a few weeks, you remember, it was like crazy. The house was always full of, you know, media from all over the world. We had CNN, Al Jazeera, ABC, you name it, we were there. It was crazy, crazy all the time. And all those people just wanted to be part of that story, because for once, it was something good coming out of the Middle East. You know, you have all those bad stories all the time, and for one tiny moment, you have Iranian and Israeli talking about peace, talking about love. It was so out of nowhere that it became news. We made a TED Talk. It was like crazy moments. And we received all those images of people holding their passports, Israeli and Iranian together. And at that moment, it was just maybe 3 months after we started. At that moment, when you were typing the word Iran or Israel on Google Images, the first hits by far were our posters. I mean, we changed the reality for how you perceive the Middle East for a few weeks. It was, if somebody were going on the internet, one of you, type Iran, how it looks, you would see the nice faces of the people. Same with Israel, and say, okay, that's a nice place, I'm coming. And that's what's great with social media. That's what's great with the internet, because when you have an idea and it's pushing over and over, it's going to grow and it's going to be there up on the top of the pile all the time. And all we got to do is to share an image, is to push that simple image, that simple message, and that's how we change the reality. So you may ask yourself, this is a bit stupid, right? I mean, this is kind of naive. This is kind of, I mean, we have a real problem here with Iran and Israel. I mean, there are real issues, and you're talking about love, and you're talking about like sending some hearts all over the world. I mean, that's not going to change nothing. And to me, this is the only way we have to change something. This is the last chance we have as people, as citizens. This is the only opportunity we have to take the stand and say something. And if we're not doing even that, so we will end up in wars. So we have now the opportunity, the ability to use social media and to be our own ambassadors. We don't have to ask anymore. We just can be ourselves and go and say, hey, dudes from Iran, from Iraq, I mean, you maybe go to war to Afghanistan and you never meet an Afghani. You maybe go to war to Iraq. Now we're talking about Korea. Where is that? I mean, how those people look like? We're talking about, you know, nuclear threats and blah, 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 but what about the people? You never see their faces. So now you have the opportunity to try and see one person in Iraq before you actually go there with a gun and maybe avoid the war. That's simple as that. This is Ella, my daughter, and a new friend from Iran. We just met here in Principia College, I mean, in the end of the world. An Israeli and an Iranian meeting for the first time. This is amazing. I went to Munich to talk about, and I meet people. I mean, I've been asked a few times, yeah, but all this story, it's on Facebook, it's not real. I mean, this is not about real people. This is just about clicks and clacks, and it's not real. But at the end, you meet with the real people. And when I was in Munich, there is a big community of Iranis, most of them living in Iran, and they have to left, and now they're living in Germany. And I met all those persons, and they all came with the same story. We know about this project, we heard about it. In Iran, everybody who has the internet know about it. We see the posters. We know that the people of Israel won't go to war. We feel exactly the same. And this is a big step, because this is really how you avoid war. Because the 101 of going to war is to dehumanize the enemy, to make him the enemy, to make him crazy. So you will see on the news every day those crazy guys from Korea, those crazy guys from Iraq. They're crazy, they're crazy. You don't see their faces. You just see stuff blowing up, and this is Iraq. So now you can change that reality for yourself, but for them also. You can vehicle a new image. And I met with You know, you see that girl, Shahrazad? She's the one from the first poster. So she was on a poster, I was on a poster. We were like two virtual faces, and then we meet in the real life. You have Roya, she's an Iranian on the top of the screen. And then here, this is Juju. At that time, she was a bit shy, and she wasn't sure she's gonna be part of the story. She ended up to open the page called Palestine Love Israel, because it's not just one page, Israel loves Iran. This is like tens of pages, and I'll show you all the pages. So she's the admin of the page called Palestine Love Israel. It's a big page, part of her community, and a few weeks ago, she was just in my house in Tel Aviv, having some fun with the kids. Same here with Roya. She came. She's an amazing woman. She's an Iranian living in Germany. She was born and raised in Germany. She knows nothing about Israel, just the bad stuff, just the horrible story that she can hear on the news about the occupation and blah, blah, blah. And we met on Facebook, and she was amazed by those posters. So she started talking to us, and we become friends. And at some point, I just tell her, you know what? Just come to Tel Aviv. And, you know, I mean, don't be afraid. It's a nice place. I'm telling you that. It's a nice place. And she said, no, you know, it's too dangerous and blah, blah, blah. And at the end, she made that move. And imagine yourself, you know, in her shoes. It's like going to Syria for you. I mean, crazy people, I'm going to hand them, and they're going to kill me. I'm going to arrive at the airport, and they're going to arrest me, and they're going to put me in jail. She was so afraid, but she did come. And again, we have the best time. There is this nice story. She lost her camera, and she lost it on a bus, and the bus driver found the camera, and there was a phone number, so he called the phone number, and he gives us back her camera. It's never happening in Israel. It happened to her, so she was like, wow, Israel, you guys, it's nice. You're the best. True story. It's not happening to me. This is the feed, the homepage for the page called Iran Love Israel. This is not Israel Love Iran. This is Iran Love Israel. There's a page called that. At the time, it was 1800s, 80,000. And you can see on the top of the page an Israeli soldier. And this is an Iranian page. Paying is, you know, for the day of remembrance of a fallen soldier in Israel. Who would thought about that? So we made many projects along that year, working together and trying to share the ideas and to share the culture and to share what is it to be an Israeli, how is it to be an Iranian, how can we connect, what are our differences. So we talked about everything, the Holocaust, Yom HaZikaron, it's the day of remembrance. We made many posters and many projects because the idea is, again, I'm a graphic designer. I only see images, but this story, it's about images because we perceive the world through images, and all we got to do is to make new images to change the world. We just have to do that. So we try all the time to make some new posters. This one is a really nice one, a Palestinian and an Israeli woman holding flags. That kind of project I really liked. I mean, dreaming of a flight from Tehran to Tel Aviv. We had Obama coming in Tel Aviv, so we asked him to give a talk about peace. He had doing that. I'm not sure it's because he read that post, but he gave a good talk, a good speech about peace. These are a few of our projects. And then we had another campaign. I mean, there are few projects and then big campaigns. And I don't know how it started. I don't know what's the difference. I can't tell you why this become a campaign and this become just one project. But one day, again in the afternoon, I called Michal. I told her, you're going to take a picture of me? She said, okay. Now she's into she get the idea. And she said, I'm taking a picture of you. You're taking a picture of me. I mean, now I got it. So we put those two images online, and I mean, instantly we start to receive images from Israelis and then from Iranians. And the idea here was to say, not ready to die, not in your war, but in your war, pointing that finger to the governments and not to the people. So, and I want you to read the names, because it's not obvious that is an Iranian and the one before was an Israeli. So you can see for every Israeli picture, you're going to have one Iranian picture. And we didn't have that in the first campaign. This is, I don't know how, this is crazy. This is Iranians from Iran sending their pictures, their faces. They're not, I mean, at first they were a bit afraid, but now they're sending their faces. This is a mother and a girl, or maybe her sister. This is a nice dude from Iran, and he's like, I'm in. Why not? This is another one. And when I'm just going to show you the pictures. This is Sanaz. She's a nice Mohammed and Fatima from Iran. Just regular faces, regular people from Israel and Iran. And you know, when you see that faces, you can't imagine that's the enemy. I mean, it's not possible that this is the enemy. This is just a dude with a funny hat. Is not the enemy. So who's the enemy? Look at those two. They're not the enemy. This one is an actual soldier in the Iranian army. And he sent me, and he friend you? So he sent me his picture, and he said, I'm Khatef, and I'm an Iranian soldier, and I want you to use my picture as a soldier in Iran in your peace campaign. So I said, dude, you're going to get in trouble. I mean, we're not putting your picture. And he was like, no, I know what I'm doing. And so I said, okay, it's just crazy, it's not real. So I go on Facebook and I check his page, and I want to make sure it wasn't some kind of trick or something. And it's really him. I mean, you can friend him. He's a really nice dude. You're talking to him? She's talking to him. You can't tell who's the Iranian and who's the Israeli. Same faces. So at some point, we decide okay, now that we have all those crazy images of Iranians and Israeli, let's try to do something more than just putting them on Facebook. And so let's try to have a campaign on the streets. So we made those ads, and we make a crowdfunding project on Indiegogo, and we ask people to give a few bucks. We raise up money, and we try our best, you know. We made these fake images, so it was like, this is what we're going to do. I mean, if you're giving us some money, we're going to put those images on the streets of Tel Aviv. So these ones are Photoshop. These ones are still Photoshop. These ones are real. I mean, at the end, we get the money, and we go to the bus company, and we ask how much it's going to cost to put Iranians and Israeli on the streets of Tel Aviv. And we made this huge campaign, 17 buses for 3 weeks in all the streets of Tel Aviv. And we had all the time an Iranian and an Israeli telling the people, we love you. Simple as that. People were like, what is it about? I mean, it was, at first, most of the people who didn't know the project from Facebook didn't understand. It was like, it's a trick. I mean, there is some kind of something that you want from us. And it took them time to understand that it was just a peace project. It was just that. It was just an Iranian looking them in the eyes and say, we love you. Last year, we have, like we always have, we had another war operation with the Palestinians, with the Hamas, with the Palestinians. I don't know how you call it how you want to call it. Anyway, we had a war, and so the first minute it started, we say we have to do something because we're always talking on the page about the Iranian, but the big issue in Israel, it's not the Iranian, it's the Palestinians. So we can't avoid that issue all the time. I didn't try to avoid it, but we didn't talk about it. So we just go on the page and say, we made that campaign called Please Stop the War and then Ceasefire. We ask for the government not to enter the Gaza Strip because there was those missiles flying. And I can tell you, it was really the hardest thing I have to do because I was working in Tel Aviv, in my flat, on the computer, and few times a day, I have to leave the computer and run to the shelter because missiles were falling on Tel Aviv. And it was like crazy because we were working on a peace project, while missiles were actually falling on my children's houses. It was like, but still I believe that there is no other way. You have to do something and you can't let go, especially when it's coming, when it's difficult. And again, you may say it's a bit naive, it's a bit like over the top. I was a soldier. I was a paratrooper for 3 years. I served the IDF, and I know how it looks. I mean, I know it from the ground. I can tell you it's not pretty. I don't want that for my children. I want to avoid that. I want to try anything I can do so they don't have to serve as paratroopers or I don't know what. So to me, it was the only thing to do. Even while missiles were falling on our heads, it was really, really intense those few days. But I can proudly say that we were kind of the first. The moment it started, we were the first on the internet asking for that to stop now, no matter what, because the issue is not going to be resolved by power. And you can see, we had that war and nothing is resolved so far. We celebrate on the page the Palestine Independence Day, and it was a nice one. I'm going to show you some numbers so you get an idea of what are we talking about now. So on Facebook, it's like 109,000 people on the page, but this is a small number when you compare it to the unique user visiting the page. Because most of the people, they're going to go on the page, but they won't like it. They're just going to look at it. Most of Iranian will be too afraid to like it because it can't put them in danger. Some Israeli, they're like, okay, I'm gonna like it, I'm gonna look at it, but I'm not gonna be part of it, not maybe later. So we had 100, it's a big number, but not that big. But the big number is like the 2 million people coming on the page every week when something happened. This is a big number. This is 2 million unique users a week for months coming and visiting the page, leaving a message, watching a picture, sometimes sharing it. This is after 1 year. This is kind of, what is it? This is the icon of the page who have been opened by just people in 1 year. I opened just the first two ones, the Israel Loves Iran on the top and the Peace Factory, the one that tried to organize and coordinate all those pages. And the rest is just people. So you have Iran Love Israel, you have Lebanon, Palestine Love Israel, and Turkey, and you can find some American pages here talking about Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. You just Google it. You Google any country and you're going to find a page, people being part of that huge community. And I mean, it's a huge, huge community because all of those pages have hundreds, thousands of friends. This is Juju. I was just showing you her face before. And this is a few days ago. We were in Tel Aviv together and we heard together the speech, the Obama, your president's speech, talking about how you're going to make peace. And if you really want to have peace, you got, when he say you, he was saying to the people, you got to push for it. So we did that stupid image, like we push for peace. But, you know, you do something and people will share it and do it and reshare it. This is an old project. We call it Coffee with You. And the idea was to have a virtual coffee with the enemy. So you have one Israeli and one Iranian, or one Iranian and one Bulgarian, I don't know, sometimes. And this image is really amazing to me. This is me in my living room and Majid. He was living at that time in Iran and is the admin of the page Iran Love Israel. And we never met, we just talk on Facebook, we're like friends, but that's it. And the only coffee that we can have is through that Photoshop collage. And 2 days ago, in Missouri, at Principia College, I met him for the first time. And it was like crazy, because out of nowhere, this dude came, he was in Joplin, and he said, hey, I'm in the area. What? Okay. And, you know, and now it's in the real life. And again, that could have been awkward because we know from Facebook and we are kind of friends on Facebook because we have the same ideas on what peace must be, but maybe he couldn't be like not a nice dude. And he was really nice, and the kid like started to jump all over. Amy was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now? Another kid? This is us pushing for peace in the guest house. You push wherever you can, yes? And that sounds lazy and stupid and funny and just easy to do, but these kind of images, these are the ones who are going to change the reality. These are the ones, you know, having an Israeli and an Iranian joking together, talking together, being kind of friends, meeting on Facebook and now meeting in the real life. This is how it's going to open the people's eyes, and they're going to realize that it's not that complicated. You're just using social media. And if you guys asking me, what's the next step? How I'm going to be part of it? What can I do? This is easy. This is never been so easy because I was talking with one of, I don't know, I can't see you. I was talking with one of the guy here, and he was talking about the Cold War and how they have to go to Moscow, to the USSR, how they have to go to Russia to meet Russian, to make peace with them. So they went on planes, and they have to go the long way and spending a lot of money to go to Russia and to meet some real Russian and to make friends with them and to talk and to create that connection. You don't have to do that. You just have to go online. It's so easy. You take that stuff you have in your pocket. Really, you can just do it now. I mean, that's not complicated. You go on Facebook, Israel loves Iran, you Google it, you find it, you like it. 200 more friends on the page. And you find that one person that you don't know, and he has a funny name. I mean, he's an Iranian, he's an Iraqi, he's from Israel, he's from Iran, and you friend him, and you start talking to him. And maybe he friend you back, and then that's it. That's peace. You have that one friend, because now you don't have them. You look at them, but they're not really friends. And you say, yeah, that's so easy. You friend them now, and he will appear on your feed once in a while. And you're going to see his marriage, and you're going to see his kid, and you're going to see his stuff, and you're going to see the picture of the food he's eating, because, that's what you do. But he's going to see your food, and at the end, you're going to say, hey, we're eating the same shit. I mean, we're not so different. Same food, we're not that different. And that's peace. That's social media at its best. That's how you connect. That's one sleazy, tiny connection, and you change the world. You change your world, and you change the world. Whatever. I'm going to stop now because I want to make that crazy photo with the heart. I just want to ask you if you want to be part of the project. If you can raise those hearts, and I will take that crazy picture that will go online, and it's going to be in 10 minutes. All over the world. And people are gonna say, wow. Okay, cheese, everybody. Or peace, or whatever you like. You're too much people. Oh my God. Okay, one more just to be sure, you never know. Okay, and that's it. Thank you so much. Too much for me. We're going up?
Yeah, you can go up. Sit down. We're going to say nice things about you. Oh, how wonderful.
Questions and answers. Save your questions. We're just going to say some very nice things about Ronny right now. I would like to thank first Vincent Hare and Natalie Davenport and the PAC board for hosting this meaningful and inspired conference, along with Janessa Gans-Wilder, founder of the Euphrates Institute, and our board of directors, who upon learning of the Israel Loves Iran campaign, recognized its overarching, lasting social value, not only in the Middle East, but worldwide. The selection of Ronny Edry as the Euphrates Institute Visionary of the Year was unanimous and wholehearted. We're proud and privileged to have you with us here, Ronny. Along with being part of the board of the Euphrates Institute, I'm the vice president of the board. I also serve as a global trustee for the United Religions Initiative. We seek best practices for interfaith and intercultural engagement through a network, and we share this network of good information with cooperation circles around the world in 83 countries. And the Euphrates Institute is one of these cooperation circles. Let me take a moment to share a little about the Euphrates Mission. It's to advance freedom and equality in investing in better relations between the Middle East and the West through education, travel, and community engagement. We focus our efforts on those who share our core beliefs, in the interdependence of the world, in the power of dialogue, and the necessity of basing relations across nations, and the principle of the Golden Rule. The Israel Loves Iran campaign combines so many of these elements so excellently. It allows for everyday people to rely on their fundamental humanity as a guide, as a way to treat others as they wish to be treated, with dignity, deference, respect, and trust. The intention of trust is so effectively communicated in that original poster that you made, Ronny. It's of a man holding his child, a person holding their child, the universal symbol of one's most precious relationship, the world over. The image itself communicates an essential message. I don't know you, but I love you. I will not participate in harming you. You can trust me. You can count on me. Once the conditions for compassion and safety were given permission, given a voice, a way to exist, once the context that everyday people could understand and relate to, and in a forum ripe with potential, the floodgates of engagement were opened. People clamored to have their images shared, not only those embroiled in the conflict in Israel and Iran, but in other conflict zones as well. They too wanted to wade in the waters of trust, in this new confluence of faith and reason. Universal truths, once revealed, can never be denied. We are in a season of spiritual transformation and concordance. Tonight marks Good Friday of the Easter holiday, a time of reconciliation, reflection, and hope. In Persian communities around the world, they're celebrating Nowruz, their new year, the spring season. This is also the Jewish holiday of Passover, where we celebrate liberation from slavery, of material slavery and mental slavery. Well, wrapped in the story of Passover is the story of the Exodus, and in it is a compelling illustration of determined vision. Here's the scene. Moses and the multitude are released from bondage, from slavery, and they make their way across the desert with Pharaoh's army in hot pursuit. They reach the banks of the Red Sea, and now they need a miracle, and fast. The people clamor and turn to Moses, their leader, for an answer. None came. Things seemed dire. One man in the multitude, with vision and tenacity, who had been led all this way, was not going to let the story end there. His name was Nashon ben Aminadav. His legacy is the ultimate lesson in follow the leader. Nashon, with faith, walks into the water. People are looking at him and they're saying to themselves, who does he think he is? If Moses can't part the water, who does he think he is? Nashon doesn't listen. He walks into the water deeper, up to his knees. Then he walks up to his shoulders. And when it comes as he walks, determined, knowing that the promise of coming to the other side would not be waylaid, as soon as it seemed that the current was going to sweep over him, the waters began to part. One man with vision and purpose, one man in the multitude, had faith. The faith and trust that he alone could begin a transformation. And the transformation could begin from the bottom up and not the top down. This changed the course of history, and true change comes from the likes of people who see the challenge and act to get the job done. While in Israel last week, President Obama echoed the same message. Ronny, you have been chosen as Visionary of the Year because you began a campaign of human engagement. Human engagement that reflects the excellence of the Euphrates Mission. Your keen recognition of the world's interdependence. Your willingness to engage in dialogue through courageous conversations which hold a deep and abiding reverence for the other. Your messaging fosters dialogue and empowers peer-to-peer diplomacy. You are making the impossible possible. Thank you for recognizing the interdependence of the human family. Thank you, Euphrates Institute. And thank you, Principia College, for being a catalyst in amplifying this vision in the wider world. We thank you, Ronny. You are changing the world, and we are with you. Congratulations. I thought I was finished, but I'm just so proud and so filled with joy at this moment. Please bring your questions. Let's have dialogue. Let's bring the future here. Let's make peace. Thank you.
Hello, is it working?
So we will now have questions, and you can just form lines at the microphones.
Thank you so much. This was really inspiring. I am just very inspired with how much you've done in just so short of time. And I'm curious about your vision for the years to come and or the near future, where do you see this going?
Okay. I cannot sitting. I'm too excited. My legs are like. We have that idea of creating a place called the Peace Factory. I mean, so far we are working. I mean, most of the time it's me and some friends, and we volunteering our time, and it's crazy. Sometimes it's really, really crazy because we have so many images and messages and work to do, and it ends up taking me most of my time. So now we're trying to create that place called the Peace Factory, and the idea is to have a lab or kind of an advertisement factory, a startup for peace. And it's a place, it's going to be in Tel Aviv, and the idea is to bring some people from the Middle East to work with us, creative people, creative mind like graphic designer, movie makers, coders, people who know their way around Facebook and creating apps and that kind of stuff, and bringing them from Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, I don't know, wherever we can bring them from, Palestine, bring some Iranian from Germany, from the States, and work together for 1 month, 2 times a year. So this is our big idea, creating that place and making it work. I'm going to live here 2 days from now, and we're going to meet some nice people in New York, and I hope they're gonna found us, because to make that happen, we're gonna need some fund. But if it's working, I mean, next month, we're gonna start bringing people in Tel Aviv and working on that idea. I hope that answers your question.
Casey?
Hi, Ronny. First of all, you're awesome. And my question, you mentioned that people said that they were kind of afraid of getting in trouble when they posted pictures of themselves. I guess, was there any trouble, or did you run into any trouble from the government, from other people? Like, what kind of challenges did you have to overcome in doing this?
You know, me personally, I didn't have any problems. I mean, in Israel, we're still living in a democracy, so it's easy for me to go on internet and to say whatever I want to say. I'm still allowed to do that. A lot of people didn't like it, but so they speak their mind, but it was okay. I think it's coming with the territory. I mean, it was kind of a sign to me that it was working, because I get so many bad answers and messages at some point. I mean, from Israel, from other places. There was a time when we were like attacked on the Facebook page. It was like kind of some job from some people, I don't know where from, but they were coming on the page at 9 in the morning until 5, and they were just bombarding the page with some horrible stuff, images from dead children and war zone and whatever. So the idea to them was, we're gonna make the page so impossible to watch from other, because they're gonna see all these ugly pictures, so they're gonna have to close it. Or at least they're gonna have to close the opportunity to let everybody say something on the page. But we didn't want to do that. We want everybody to be able to go on the page and say whatever they want. So we just, again, I bring some friends, and I just give them the assignment of going on the page and deleting for hours those crazy comments and images, and it was like a day-to-day job. So this was really difficult, but that was the most difficult. I think for Iranian, it's way more dangerous than for Israeli, and those guys sending their pictures and having their pictures printed on Israeli bus in Tel Aviv, this is crazy courageous for them. I mean, I'm like just, you know, it's not hard for me. It's crazy for them to do that, because they're living in a crazy regime. I mean, yeah, I'm using the word again, crazy regime, but they can get in trouble. But so far, we didn't have any, we don't have any stories that somebody has been arrested or something like that. So far, it's working.
Hi, Ronny. What is the most challenging part of what you do, and what is the most rewarding part of what you do?
The most challenging is to convince Michal to take another picture. No, now she's into it. But the first few weeks were like, the most challenging is to find a new idea all the time, is to find a new way to say the same stupid story again and again. I mean, you know, now it's like we push for peace, and then it was Iranians, we love you and not ready to die in your war, and you have to find all the time a new slogan, a new way to get the story out of there. So this is the most challenging. And as a graphic designer, as creative people, it's like being working for a company that sells only one product, and you have to make a new ad every week, and it's crazy. So most of the time, I'm brainstorming with some friends, and I'm using my student like, I'm just giving them assignments from school, and I'm using their assignment and putting them on the page. Simple as that. And, you know, I was in your class yesterday. I don't know, it's like, I'm so jet lagged. And I gave an assignment to my student a few days ago about how it is to be an Israeli, and they make those nice 1-minute movie And few of them I posted on the page because they're so, you know, kind of the story we want to put on Facebook. So this is challenging, but this is really, I mean, exciting. And the most rewarding is to get those story back from Iran, from Palestine, meeting with the people, meeting with Majid 2 days ago. It was like, I can describe it. I still didn't have processed the whole story. It was really, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. I wouldn't dream about it the first day when I posted that poster. And we had Roya in the house, and Juju came from Germany. This is like giving you so much power because you see that it's working. Anything else? Hard question. This is easy.
First of all, I want to congratulate you because looking at this love, instead of the paper being in red color, instead it's white, and white means peace, and you are creative for that. Your graphic design speaks out, you know. I have 2 questions, and one question goes to Iran and Israel being a country in the Middle East, and about half a year ago in Northern Africa, countries like Egypt, Libya, there are so many things that have been happening concerning peace with the French Revolution. What is your mission in a country like that? Because as much as we believe that the country is settled, there is still some more bad things happening in that country. And those countries like in part of Africa, in the Northern Africa. Another question, I've seen you've been concentrating and like coming to the US, Germany, but I haven't heard you talking about Africa. And my name is Kevin Lubuya. I come from Kenya, and 5 years ago, our country is known to be peaceful, you know, but 5 years ago, after the general election, Kenya was seen on the bad end, as in many people were killed because of tribalism, and it was so bad. Like recently, before we held the election, we respect CNN as one of the greatest media the world has ever had, but you know they brought a scene of, they brought a scene whereby they trained people to come and pretend that they are the people who are going to fight again during the general election. And I'm so glad that our government came out and said that, no, this is not real, you know. We are a peace-loving country, and we've learned from our mistake, you know. And one of the quotes from Mother Teresa, the late Mother Teresa, was that peace starts with a smile. And I'm really glad because it was through social media, not negative social media, whereby people create scenes just to come and show the world that these people are not yet in that peace manner, but you know, everyday media could talk of peace, you know, like you have to understand that Kenya is like a one tribe, not 43 tribes, you know, and I'm so glad that after that, right now, we have peace, even though like the presidential election, like there is a petition that there is some kind of weird things about who won the presidency, but through that we still have that people are still staying in peace, you know, waiting for the verdict that is supposed to be announced tomorrow. And my hope is that our country will still be a peace-loving nation. And so my question to you, as you continue to nurture this term of peace all over the world, and specifically between Palestine, Iranians, and the Israelites, what is your thought about Africa? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I know nothing about Africa. I mean, to be frank, I know what most of people know, and I know what I see on TV, and I have basic knowledge of what's happening in Kenya. I know some stuff going on in Sudan because we have a lot of Sudanese in Israel crossing Egypt and ending up on the streets of Tel Aviv, but I'm not familiar with with what's happening in Africa. So, I mean, I just started with what I know, and I know my country, and I know the country surrounding Israel, and the first threat was Iran, so we talk about Iran. We're talking about Palestine, and we're trying to create a bridge in the Middle East, and believe me, this is hard enough for one person. So I try to focus on, you know, the Middle East and creating connection between Israel and Iraq, Iran, Palestine, Jordan, I mean, all those people. And sometimes, I mean, because we become kind of a big community, sometimes we have people from other countries and sending me mails and say, what do you think I can do to create a relation between, let's say, India and Pakistan? So I have talked with a lot of people, and I always ending up the same answer. Open a page. I will help you. We will give you the graphics. We will make them for you even if you need. Just do it, and we will back you up. So we have this. I talk with those guys. They're from Stanford University, and there are some Indian student there and a Pakistani student, and they wanted to open a page, and they end up talking to me. So they opened a page called Romancing the Border, and it's a page about India love Pakistan, and we did help them along the way. We give them advice, and we try to help them to build that community. I can do more than that. I can be the one that helps you create the first spark, and then it's your job. So maybe you want to open a page about, I mean, your country and the country you think you need to communicate with, and I'll be happy to help you to do that. If you need my help, I'm here 2 more days, and then we can talk online. Really, I mean it.
Hey, Ronny, thank you for being here and bringing your family. My question is, since you've started this, have you seen any sort of, or have you perceived any sort of change in the community or on the streets besides just what you see online?
Israelis are really, really cynical. I mean, we have seen everything. Nobody wants to talk about peace. I mean, a lot of people are crazy about peace coming, but it's like nobody's believed that it's ever going to happen. So it's like, okay, peacemakers, we got you. It's hard to getting there, but we have opened so many eyes, and I have so many students telling me, friends, I have Iranian friends, I'm talking to them. We have all these pages, private pages, kind of spin-off of the big page, where you have communities of friends from Iran and Israel talking together, sharing some stuff, meeting places in the world. And so this is this is how you change things. You open the eyes, you rehumanize the faces of the enemy. And that's a long process. And I can't tell you now we did it. But we may have opened few eyes, and you know, that's the first steps.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom.
My name's Barbara, and I believe what you are doing is a self-fulfilling prophecy of being the change you want to see and seeing the change you want to be. It only takes one person to change the world. You've taken the first step in peace worldwide. It's not just Iran, Israeli. It can be as small as somebody sitting next to you in a classroom, and as wide as the global, I mean, we're on this planet together. And so I'm just so grateful that you've had the courage to start that ball rolling. You've taken the first step. And I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what I want to ask is, how can we help every single country find peace amongst its borders so that this globe is the earth, it's our planet. It's not your country, your state, your city, your religion, your nationality, or any part of you that describes you, but we are one universal family. And you've started it, and it's up to us. Everybody in this room, if we can touch 1 million lives, then we can promote peace, as Janessa Gans Wilder does with her Euphrates Institute. We can prepare for peace, we can be warriors for peace, and we are on the front lines. And as we are spreading that peace to 1 million people, each one of us, and don't limit it to 1 million, then we can change the world. And we will be one universal family on this planet.
Thank you, first. And, you know, I can just give you my humble opinion on how you can change things. There was a time when I was really in bad shape, and I have a lot of issues in my head, and I went to seek consult, and I talked with that person. It was really nice talking to him here and there, and he gave me that great advice. I mean, it was like the best ever, because I was always bitching about everything. I was like so tense and disappointed about everything. I was like looking at the streets, and I'm still looking at the streets, but because it's dirty in Israel sometimes. But I was so, and he told me, you know, you start with what you can do. You do the little thing that you can do. Don't try to change the world. That's not going to happen. You just do what you can do. And this is my advice to you. I mean, you are young minds, and you are students, and you are full of energy, and you just do what you can do, what you can, and it can be in your community. You don't have to change the world. You just change the relation with your parents, and you have it. You change the relationship with your friend, with your neighborhood. We had this teacher this morning. You know, we have all these amazing people, and they do what they can do. And you do that. You do the thing that you're good at doing. You teach basketball. I don't know. You do that thing, and you open up, and you hope for the best. And that's my advice.
We have time for just a couple more questions.
First of all, thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing and continue to do. And my question is, well, a little bit of backstory first. Azarna Fisi is coming to speak at Principia next month. And I guess she's pretty much known for teaching empathy through literature. And she was formerly a professor in Tehran teaching English. And as a graphic designer, I was hoping you could speak a little bit more to the power of the arts as a whole in creating change.
Okay. To me, this whole project, this whole story, this whole page, it's about graphic design. I mean, I'm first of all a graphic designer, and I'm doing what I know to do. As I was giving you my advice, I'm making peace through graphic design, because what I'm doing is like I'm making images, and all these images that I showed you, they may look like simple, but I have to Photoshop them, I have to put some typo on them, and I have to make them look nice, so you will look at them, and you will like them, and share them, and reshare them, and on and on and on. And to me, it's all about images. And I'm applying what I've learned as a graphic design student. I apply those rules of visual communication into the process of making peace. I'm making peace through visual communication. This is, to me, it's like selling Coke or selling shampoo. I'm selling peace. I'm looking at it like it's a product, and I'm trying to sell it to you guys or to the Iranians, to the Israeli, and I want to put it on buses, on flyers, on the net, on YouTube, like it's a shampoo campaign. So, and these are the rules. I'm okay with that. That's how you sell stuff. So let's sell peace. Let's make it viral. Let's make it big. So people will like it, and they will want it, and they will use it, and they will share it, and they will, and there will be peace.
Thank you for everything that you've done. It's amazing. I just wanted to ask, what empowered you? How did you get to the point where you decided to make that poster that like went viral? What were your support structures? Like, what gave you that? Yeah.
Again, it's like it's part of being an artist or a graphic designer. This is my way of processing the word. I mean, I made so many posters before that one. If you go on my page, on my private page, and you look at the poster I did just before the Israel Loves Iran campaign started, you're going to find some funny stuff there. I'm telling you, you're going to say, oh my God. Because I have so many stuff to say about so many things, and in Israel, so many things are happening all the time. So every time something happens, and I go to Michal and I ask her to take a picture. And she's like, oh no, not again. And I'm making that poster and I'm posting it, and that's it. And I do that for years. Even before Facebook, I was making posters and putting them on the streets, on real paper. And then Facebook come up and I was like, oh, hallelujah, thank you, God. No need for more glue and paper. I can just do every day a new one. That's my way of processing the world.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.